They didn't become cold, they became careful. And there's a difference, but most people never stop to notice it. There's a type of person who used to talk a lot, used to share, used to trust quickly, reach out first, say how they felt before they had time to second guess themselves. And then, at some point, they stopped. Not because they ran out of things to say, not because they got busy, because they got hurt. And then they got hurt again. And after enough time, something quietly shifted inside them. From the outside, people call it shutting down. They say things like, "You've changed. You used to be more open. Why don't you talk to me anymore?" But here's what nobody tells you. That silence isn't emptiness. It's protection. The quiet isn't the problem. The quiet is the response to the problem. There's a process called emotional suppression. Psychologists who study this have found that when a person expresses something genuine, something real, and that expression is met with rejection, ridicule, or indifference, the brain registers it as a threat. Not a metaphorical threat, a real one. The same systems that protect you from physical danger start protecting you from emotional exposure. And this is where it gets strange. The more it happens, the more the brain automates the response. You don't even decide to go quiet. It becomes faster than a decision. Something starts to come up, a feeling, a need, an honest thought, and before it reaches your mouth, something else cuts it off, quietly, efficiently, like it never happened. Most people stop here and say it's just becoming guarded, but there's something else going on beneath that. The person who goes quiet didn't stop feeling. They stopped believing that feeling out loud was safe. Those are two completely different things. One is numbness, the other is intelligence. Painful, costly intelligence, but intelligence. The surface answer is that they pulled away. The real answer is that they learned, and they learned it the hard way, through people who couldn't hold what they gave them. And this is where it gets uncomfortable, because suppression doesn't just keep things in. Research in behavioral psychology shows that what you contain long enough starts to press outward in other ways. Exhaustion that has no clear cause, an irritability that seems to come from nowhere, a hollow feeling in conversations that should feel easy. The silence protects, but it also costs. Here's the truth about people who go quiet after being hurt too many times. They are not broken. They are not cold. They are not difficult. They are people who once gave freely and learned through experience that not every space deserves that. And that's not a flaw. That's discernment built out of pain. It's the hard version of wisdom, the kind you don't get to choose, the kind that gets pressed into you whether you wanted it or not. The ones who've been through this don't need to be told to open up more. They need proof that opening is worth it. That's different. So if you recognize this in yourself, the silence, the hesitation, the way you hold back things you would have said easily years ago, understand what that is. It isn't damage, it's history. The real question isn't how to stop being quiet. It's whether the people around you have earned the version of you that used to speak freely. If this landed, you already know what that means.